Those are some great scores, a great story. Stacy. Keep it going. Keep it. All right. Oh, wait a second. Wait.
Thank you, sir. Now that I'm clean, I'm not as nervous.
Now you won't be as nervous. There we go.
Total lie. Thank you. Thank you. So, when I went for a walk this morning, I was reminded of this ageless fear that I have of being enough, of having enough, of doing enough. And in September, I'm celebrating 22 years clean and sober. And I was a little bit sheepish about saying that I'm in Wisconsin, but it's true. And I have spent a lot of time trying to find enough. There's a saying in the recovery expression, if it's not a martini, it's a man. If it's not a man, it's a muffin. If it's not a muffin, it's a MasterCard. And I've gone through all of that, but there's really only one thing that I was ever really able to feel enough with. And it's singing. And my career or my life as a performer began really early on the hearth of the fireplace, jamming out to the Partridge Family and the Osmonds. And did I charge my parents admission? Yes. Yes, I did. I would belt out Benatar in the shower. But as I got older, when I reached high school, food started becoming really important. Booze started becoming really important. Drugs started becoming really important. I got chubby, I got teased, and any notion of being a performer just kind of went to the back burner. And when I was about 90 days clean, my sister gave me a trip to New York to see Les Mis on Broadway. And I didn't know anything about the show. I just knew that I was going to feel pretty cool seeing a show on Broadway. I did know one song, though. I knew the song on my own because it was in my range. So when we got to the theater, neither one of us could believe we were going to see a Broadway show, and we're sitting front and center, and we're so excited. And neither one of us knew the show. But when the curtain came up, if you know anything about the show, you know that you can be instantly transfixed because it's powerful. Look down, you'll always be a slave. Like, it's huge, right? And it's a story about redemption. And she and I both grew up in the same abusive home. And so we're whispering back and forth the whole time, and we're crying. We're bawling. And by the time the curtain came down after the first act, the guy in front of us literally turned around to make sure we were okay. Like, we were that boisterous, I guess. Both of us smoked at the time. I've since given that up too. But anyway, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I like to say that cussing is my only vice at this point. I swear like a sailor. But so anyway, we went outside to have a smoke, pulled ourselves together in time for Act 2. So we get back inside, Act 2 starts, and here's the song. Here's the song I'm waiting for, On My Own. The song starts, and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting because, like, I always felt like if I had had my chance, if my life had been different, if I hadn't been abused, if I hadn't been an addict, I could have nailed this part. So I'm sitting there and I'm resentful of this girl. I'm resentful of my life. I'm mad at God. I'm jealous. And I'm waiting for the note. If you know the song, you know, like, the note. A world that's full of happiness that I have never known. And in that moment, I got it. A world that's full of happiness that I have never known. I had known plenty of happiness. My sister, who's sitting next to me, had given me this incredible gift. I'd gotten sober. I was on Broadway. This woman was on Broadway, and by the way, she slayed it. I couldn't deny that she killed it. She had simply gotten there in her way, and I'd gotten there in mine. So I became completely unglued. Now I'm completely sobbing, snot dripping. I'm a puddle. So the curtain comes up, or it comes down, right? The end of the show. Curtain comes down. The guy in front of us turns around again. This time he's like, do you need CPR? Are you okay? And we just sort of, I don't know what I said, to be honest with you. I don't say what I said. So we went outside, smoked again, and my sister suggests that we go to the stage door, to which I'm like, that's not happening. Like, I just had this emotional breakthrough, for God's sake, it's not happening. She talks me into it. So we go to the stage door, and a van pulls up. Who gets out of the van but the guy who had been sitting in front of us? Who's this guy? He's the father of the young girl who had just played young Cassette in the show. I know. And he says to his wife, if anybody deserves to go backstage, it's these two. So I am led on a tour of the backstage by young Cassette, a young girl who is already living her dream. We see the candlesticks, we see the red flag, we see the barricade. And when we get to the stage, I separate myself from the group, and I walk out to where Eponine had been singing her solo. And I can still see the seats, these red velvet seats. I had started the evening as a woman who had always wondered what it would have been like if things had been different. And in this moment, they were. Thank you.